and welcome to the Uncalled For. We have a great show planned for you tonight. We're going to be covering some incels and red pill and black pill and all the funky dating advice they all have. So this should be a lot of fun tonight. So I'm going to get started right around the room so we can just get started and have some fun. So first up, I'm going to introduce Claire Asper. Claire, how are you this evening?
I'm great, Aimee. I'm really looking forward to this. It's going to be a great show. It's going to be a good one. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Me too. I'm so excited. And next up, we have Gary Isle of Wight. Gary, how are you?
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm good, thanks. I thought I can't miss this one. This is going to be a crack.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. It's going to be so much fun. And we also have with us Charlie Welch. Charlie, how are you this evening?
Super hot, but very excited about this unique, sort of stupid, and super excited about our special guest.
Yay! Me too. I'm so excited. And before we get to our special guest, I do want to introduce you all to our producer for the evening, and it's Dick Dawson. Dick, how are you this evening?
About sums up the incel community. So I'll let you finish, Aimee.
Thank you so much. And next up, we have our special guest for the evening as well. We are so excited. We have Planner Walk with us today, who has covered these people in the past. People, I will say lightly. So thank you so much for joining us. How are you today, Planner Walk?
Ahoy hoy, I'm doing well. Yeah. It's going to be an interesting one.
It really should be.
That in a nutshell is the insight somebody has from actually doing incel videos. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yay.
But yourself, Aimee, how's things your way?
I am doing great. Thank you. It's been a little bit warm here too, but I think we're going to do all right. We're going to have a great time. Like I said, we've got a great show planned tonight. I think we're going to have a lot of fun going over all these things. So shall we get started right away?
Sure
Yes,
thing.
Absolutely.
I was tempted to say no, just to be a contrarian.
We need a little of that.
Yes, exactly. So Claire, you had some stuff that you wanted to cover as well. What should we cover first, do you think?
Oh gosh. Well, I don't know. Do you think we want to go over I was confused, I'll be honest with you, when I first dove into this, because there's like so much to it. I mean, as a woman, I'm not young or new to this. I was used to a little bit of this toxicity, but all the new terms were really throwing me for a loop. I actually had to research red pill and what it actually meant. And I'm a big fan of the Matrix, and of course I knew the reference to that. Well, I was actually my eyes were opened when I saw how they took that and just turned it into such a convoluted message on so many different levels.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'd like to preface all my coming comments with this. Anybody out there who finds it difficult to find a sexual partner, number one, you should be looking for a partner, and that might actually get you in the right direction. But number two, getting on camera and crying and whining about it for the world to see is not the way you're going to meet anyone that you really want to spend any time with. For the love of God, just listen to me, okay?
Okay. I'd like to answer a question in the chat from High Inquisitor. He's directing it at me to make sure I know what I'm talking about up here, I guess. He said, Claire, what is an incel? Okay, well, an incel.
It's a fair question. Maybe people aren't familiar.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, the technical definition is it's a member of an online community of young men who consider themselves unable to attract women sexually, typically associated with views that are hostile towards women and men who are sexually active. In other words, they are like celibate in a way, either intentional or unintentional by force, and they feel that everybody else is to blame for it. upset. Someone not taking responsibility for their lack of sexual intercourse in their life. That's it. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's perfect.
yeah.
That's perfect. Perfect
Because
description, but yeah.
I was surprised to find out they actually blame these other men, this other group of what they call them alphas or rather, who actually put them down.
Chads.
And they actually blame them for like taking all the women for being too much. And they're not at all. And these guys are too much. It's like, and I'm like, the hell with y'all. It's like, God, I don't know. But I actually felt bad in the incel community to find out about Black Pill, though. That was a little unnerving for me. Yeah.
Definitely blame that.
Yes.
what's Black Pill?
That's what I was just going to jump into. Yeah, there's red pill, black pill. I think there's a couple of other pills, but it probably goes along with the Matrix, I'm guessing. But Claire, are you well read on this enough to give us the explanation?
For Black Pill, yeah. If Planner Walk doesn't want to, sure. But Planner Walk, did you want to go? I think you've been doing a lot on this. If you'd like to,
I don't actually know what Black Pill is because I've only heard of red pill and a different type of pill that's generally called Viagra.
Oh yeah, which might solve a lot of their problems. But the Black Pill actually is the mentality of it's rather dark, which is why they call it Black Pill. But it's moving from red pill, where they're blaming everything on everyone else, and there's this hierarchy of the alpha male. Everything's the woman's fault, and then there's the incel, which they're just celibate by because nobody wants them because they're just not of the level. They don't either have the cars, the sexual prowess, or all the money that these alpha males are saying that you need. So they're being oppressed by both sides. They feel like they're being oppressed by women and they're being oppressed by men. And then the alpha males actually put it out there, well, you're just not good enough, so give up. There's actually no hope. So the end is all you have.
Wow.
So you might as well be in control of how you end it. And that's how I'm going to say it. I'm not going to say the words. Well, that is the mentality. And it is quite toxic that they're doing that to other men. That to me was horrifying when I read that.
It's stooped that low. Wow.
Yeah, they do. They are so alpha that anybody beneath them, including their other men, you just might as well, go away. We don't need you. Yeah.
Exactly, and
we'll take care of it all ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was heartbreaking because not only are they're coming from a place of insecurity, I believe, with all the things that they say and the blaming of everything on everyone else. Obviously, they're not secure in themselves or their place in the world. But then to put that on them too, that's horrifying. That is definitely taking advantage of a mentality there and being quite abusive and
absolutely.
Yeah. There's a lesson to be learned in the fact that quite often you will see what society collectively would say, not really the most attractive guy with a very attractive woman. And that's not only the whole, oh, well, that comes down to what's in your pants argument. No, it actually comes down to personality.
Even
better
100%.
than that.
Oh, go on. I'm sorry.
I was just agreeing with Dick because, like confidence is a big factor. And I think that a lot of people, they have the looks, right? They have the looks. Sometimes they may even have the money, but they just don't have the confidence. And if you don't have the confidence, then you probably aren't going to be able to get with someone,
Yeah.
Being fairly approachable and decent to people is a bonus as well, surely. It matters not whether you've got money or the looks. If you're a nice person and you get on.
We should clarify that Planner Walk's confidence doesn't mean you're some 80s bravado-filled motherfucker with all the slick lines. He just means that you're comfortable enough in your skin to be yourself and just simply say, hey, how you doing? What's happening to, wherever, right?
Right. To be yourself and to be okay with who you are, which is what you should be. And a lot of the black pill people are, the red pill aren't very good. They're not very nice towards women, but the black pill are even worse. And they advocate sometimes for I won't dare say out the word on YouTube, but they want to it starts with
Self-proclaimed
R,
dirt
and
nap.
they want it, and it's just a 4-letter word. That it's an R word. They want to. They feel that they're entitled sometimes to be able to do that to women, and so and SA is another thing that they're okay with.
They are. They say if they won't give it, take it. It you know, because we deserve it, and that's horrifying.
Absolutely.
But
It
on
is horrifying.
On Dick's point, Aimee, I don't know about you, but for me, it's not so much. I do agree with Planner Walk about the confidence, because for me, it's not always about how someone looks. It is how they act and present themselves. It's more about, ability to carry on a conversation. But it's more than anything how they make me feel. If they are confident enough to let me feel confident, then that's everything, and that takes on a human level a special kind of person, let alone it be a man or a woman. But in order to give someone space enough, to be themselves and be accepted, that's everything. I wish more men would learn that, like quick, like young.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Sure would help your numbers. I'll tell you that. If you're worried about your numbers, that is the biggest improvement you can make.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I've been looking into this for a little bit too with a friend of mine. And we were talking the other day about how, how you carry yourself is important. But, a lot of the times what I'll do too is when I'm meeting someone, I'll read more into how they're saying things, as well as what they're saying. And so, the way you speak and everything can make a difference in how people perceive you and how safe they'll feel with you. So that's another thing to remember as well. Just be open and friendly.
And they will say, if you're in the red pill community, that would make you a beta, that you're only giving in to women so that you can have sexual intercourse to increase your numbers. Like, that you're only giving in, that you don't really believe it. You're just playing along. Which I don't agree with. I think that the middle of the road is probably the best place for both sides, for women and men. I don't believe in extreme feminism either. I don't believe in
Planner Walk.
I've never really understood this whole you're just you're just agreeing with, or like trying to word it like I've heard this whole you're not really a feminist, you just say that you're a feminist so that you can have sex with women. It's like, like, can't I just agree with feminism? Because I think that feminism has quite a few good points, and I actually think that feminism does have interesting points that these red pill types could actually take and go and try to improve themselves with it.
It's hard, as long as they believe that the only purpose that we have as far as motives are to deceive and manipulate men, or rather than, if we actually get along with you, it's it's being too promiscuous just to satisfy our own sexual needs, that we don't really care about you. Which I found like quite the coin flip there. They're either like you don't or you do, but either way you're damned. Like it's really just an amplification of the societal pressure that we've been under for years, right, Aimee? It's just like just like they just took a bullhorn to it and just said, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
Absolutely.
Women and societal pressure, I present to you the corset. Argument done.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly. So shall we play a video?
Sure. Where do you go? The list in the room there, I've got everything is set up in order.
Excellent.
A list of videos and the couple websites we had as well.
Okay. Cool.
Excellent. Shall we do a video first, please?
Here we go.
All right.
Thank you.
So, Oh, how about okay? The first one I have loaded up is the 5 red pill truths every man must know.
Yes. Perfect.
Let's
All
see
right.
how true these truths are.
Oh, I'm scared. All right, let's check it out. See what happens here.
And definitely,
All right.
definitely do not get into a relationship with a promiscuous woman. Like, if your bros are telling you that she's been around town or she's been with your whole entire friend group, bro, what are you doing trying to cuff this shit? Yo, what is up? 18 Austin Dunn. I'm back again with another video. So in this video, we're going to discuss 5 red pill truths that every man should know. So being involved in this red pill lifestyle and learning things over the course of this past year, there have been a few instances where certain things constantly pop up again and again, and you probably see them in the comments. And today we're going to dive deep into those certain topics and things, and it's really going to open your eyes. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the first point. All right, guys, the first point, and we have definitely seen this in the comments, and that is, she is not yours, it is just your turn. Now, I know that might hurt some of you guys' feelings, but think about it. There's some truth to the statement, and there's a reason why they have gotten so long.
Okay,
Wow.
hold on.
Yeah, that's just not true from my experience.
I was rather hoping I might learn
Thank
something
you.
from this tonight, but
Whoa.
That's a guy that does not know the touch of a woman.
Yep.
Yeah, have you
I
ever
feel
heard?
like-
Yeah.
I feel like what's happened here is he's gotten in quite a few relationships, and they've always, like, you know, something's happened and, you know, it's ended terribly, and then he's gone, well, it's just must be because it was just my turn or something like that. I think that's what has happened there.
Wow. Just wow. Jeez.
Gonna shout out AT2 Productions in the chat. Says, yeah, Dawson, that mentality does exist. Look up the term monkey branching. I mean,
All
yeah,
I have to say is crikey. Oh, God.
I knew to be scared. I knew it.
I know. I don't know. Oh, well, I guess I'm gonna hurt it some more. Go ahead. Hey.
So what I see on display here is the sad effect of steroids and the old man vegetable, you know, shriveling up from sausage to hot dog. Yet the weights are working, and he's just not sure why they ain't sticking around.
Exactly that. And he's probably banged his head a couple times.
Yeah, that, oh boy.
Mm.
It's
A
just,
couple, yeah.
That's always banging.
I think that it's one of them things where they might assume that everyone just wants sex, right? I
Yep.
think that, like, because I've got a friend, and she has said that she would like basically a lifetime partner, and it's one of them things where I wouldn't say she's annoyed, but it's one of them things where she doesn't want someone just for a night or something. She wants someone for a long time, but she's had a relationship for a while. A few years ago, I think she had basically a year-long relationship, but, you know, she's finding it hard to find a guy that wants to be with her for a long time rather than guy that just wants to bang.
yeah. That's always been like a struggle, the difference between whether you want something just for company or you want something more for commitment. But apparently the mentality of monkey branching, Aimee, we're doing it wrong, because apparently we're already supposed to be thinking about the next one. We're supposed to be lining them up and
That's how it
mentally
works.
cheating on everybody. Like, we're never there. We're never
Right.
100%. And I'd have to say that was absolutely the opposite of me. I'm 100%
Right.
there. Like,
Right.
loyal to a fault. Like, this is,
See, that's me too.
wow. Thanks, AT.
And yes, thank you, AT2. That was brilliant. So thank you for that.
Oh, boy.
Yes,
Didn't think it got any yuckier.
exactly. Yeah, I'd seen that before, and yeah, it seems like they're trying to go for like the next level up. It sounds terrible to say that, like it's almost like they're shopping for the next new car. It's really kind of gross. It's nasty. It's gross. They don't treat people like human beings. And yes, Claire, I'm loyal to a fault too, and I'm, I'm very into long term. I'm kind of old fashioned that way. But yes, and that's what they do is they're going for the next one, and they usually do have one lined up. When they break up with the former one, they're on to the next. And it's just I've heard of that before.
Fucked up way to live, Aimee. What is that even?
Yeah,
How does that work?
I know. And after a while it's I just don't see it. It's bad. If I'm in it, I'm in it for life too. That's just me. It's these people.
I hear you.
Yeah. Very strange.
Well, should we let this guy explain she's not yours? Because, I mean, we stopped him at point one, the title, right?
I know. Yes, please.
All right, let's see what we gather out of this matter.
Okay. Thank
It
you.
is just your turn. Now, I know that might hurt some of you guys' feelings, but think about it. There's some truth to the statement, and there's a reason why it has gotten so popular in the Red Pill community. So if we think about it with your relationships, whatever, non-monogamous, monogamous, doesn't matter, inevitably and statistically, they are likely to end. So what you need to do is practically enjoy the ride for however long it may be and enjoy the moments together, because for whatever reason may happen, she might end up leaving you for a better option. She gets tired of you.
Might?
We all have been there where, things just get kind of dry and then they start acting different. And then out of nowhere, you felt like you had her and then bam, she's gone. So even with myself, for example, in a non-committed relationship with few people,
okay, hold on.
I guess you could say.
Okay. So what he's saying is all of my relationships have nothing to do with intimacy on an emotional, intellectual level in any way. It's just you're hot, so I'm going to spend my time with you because I get to play with you naked.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, that's all I'm getting, man.
oh wow.
Right. I'm at a loss for words because there's stuff to explore there, but it's like he's taking it at really like surface levels. He's basically having surface level analysis there.
Yeah,
and it's like because most relationships will end, right? Because I mean, a lot of times you will get with someone and then it will turn out that they're not the right person. Sometimes people change. If you get with someone and then they change, as most people do, you may not like the person that they become. Even if they become a better person, that might not be the person that you got with. So it's like, okay, well, I'm going to, I'll want someone different. That is something that happens. And so statistically, yes, most relationships will end, but that doesn't mean that that's because they want to get with someone else or anything. It's just because maybe they don't like where the relationship is.
Yeah, or planner walk. Conversely, it could be you've matured, the other person hasn't, and after 5 years, you're like, really, you're still pretending it's the gap year, between university and here I am on my career path. Like there's so many angles to this, right?
So one of the things that one of the relationships I've been in, and I spoke about this in I think it was my Andrew Tate video that I spoke about it. This relationship went for 1 year and 8 months. I was the one that broke it off because I did not like where it was sort of like we're arguing all the time, all that kind of stuff. There were definitely some trust issues when I had friends because she's like, oh, are you going to start banging your friend? It's like, no, she's just a friend. That kind of stuff. And so, yeah, I broke it off. And I don't, even though she threatened to break it off quite a few times, and I don't think she would have actually gone through with it.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think it's because she wanted, to eventually get married, but it was one of them things where she would use breaking up as sort of a threat. So that was another good reason to end the relationship, I think.
Well, I had the opposite situation where, a partner would actually assume that I want things to progress all the way to babies and marriage, like right away, and put all kinds of expectations on me on what they felt was something I might, instead of actually having the conversation, which they probably would have relaxed a lot earlier if they had talked to me about it, sooner, rather than, making assumptions, to know that, I want everything to go slow. I'd rather get to know the person like a really long time, and I don't have an end goal. I don't have an end goal.
Yeah,
not everybody's the same, It's
I mean, if I'm going to be in a relationship for a long time, I want to know the person. I want to know what they're like. I want to know their flaws. I want to know their strengths, because, a long time is a long time, and you want to know what you're getting into there.
Yeah, Planner Walk, can you imagine you hook up with somebody, you get married within a year, and all you're doing is looking at them, physically going, yeah, that's great. And 2-3 years into the marriage, she's, all about charging crystals and moonlight, and you're running a debunking channel on YouTube. Well, that's got a future right there.
What? Yeah, but that's what happens. People do grow and change. Yeah, that's why communication and compromise. I always say that they are the two most important things in any relationship, friendship all the way through to partners and lovers. Like, if you don't have that, this is how things get that far apart, Dick. Like, real quick, right? Like, people do change. Yeah. Oh.
Well, should we bring in Snuffleupagus to clarify his point and move on?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
All right. There we
Thank
go.
you.
Is that I realized that it could end at any given moment, and I can't be mad about it. So this is a term personally that I pretty much live by at this point in time, and I know that everything and anything will come to an end. So if you live by this statement too, then you're just gonna be, I guess, more grateful about your experience whenever it does end, you know what I mean? Because at the beginning, you already knew that it was. So it might be a little bit pessimistic, but I would rather be grateful than disappointed. So that's the first one. Let's move on to the second one. All right, so point number 2 is that you cannot change a promiscuous woman, AKA you can't change a hoe into a housewife. Have you heard that before? Because I definitely have. And one time.
Could it be?
What?
Ay, ay, ay.
Yes, see?
Shit.
Back. Oh, going on.
Did he say that?
Wait, first he said it's already doomed, so let's just be grateful we got it, because it's like already not anything, like, right? And then he turns right around and says, let me judge you whether you be a hoe. I can change you to a house. Man, he's young.
Okay.
He's young.
So I literally know someone who has slept with like 20, maybe 30 guys, and she's currently in a relationship. I think she's still in that relationship because, she's tired of sleeping around with guys, so she wants, a proper relationship. And yeah, she's finally found one, which good for her, to be honest.
Yeah. But necessarily, does the number... Okay. I would like to subscribe to the notion that it's not the number of people that you sleep with, but how you sleep with them, on whether or not you're classified as a whole. Let's just be clear. Like, this is 2022. Yeah, this is I get offended with the way the terminology is used without some context, to tell you the truth, because they just throw it out there. Like if you have, what does that mean? If you have 2 partners, 3 partners, 4 partners, where's the line?
Claire, I got context. When it comes to this guy, the only thing he's truly angry about is the cost of hand cream and how much he goes through.
Oh. And nobody washed his damn socks. I hear you.
I'm wondering if he's projecting here, because he does really seem like a manho.
Yes. I wonder how many people he slept with or wanted to. I mean, I know he probably can't sleep with everyone he wants.
I think his batting average is probably pretty bad. The way he acts.
Yeah. Oh boy. I wonder. 82. Jared made a good comment in here about those dating apps. The swipe left, and the percentage that 80% of the women are only picking 20% of the men.
I'll give you an opinion on this guy that's not based on humor, because I've ripped him a couple of times. But here's an honest thing. He's the kind of guy who assumes he's getting some when he gets a phone number from somebody who's just simply interested in seeing who he is and maybe where it could go. And he will go away from the first date going, oh, fuck that, because I didn't get anywhere. That's who he is. Right. And nobody wants that guy. And the only people he's ever going to hook up with are the people that nobody that really wants a real relationship wants. So he ends up not even having any respect or actual care for anybody he's with, because he only ends up with, somebody who's just simply surfing through to have fun. Like his perspective is so fucked because he doesn't even have his eye on the prize.
Exactly, and I think that is what's wrong with a lot of the dating apps. Maybe that's why it looks like 80% of the women are picking 20% of the men. Can you imagine what this young man's profile looks like on a dating app?
Oh, dear God.
Yeah, well,
I wonder how many shirtless photos he's put on.
It really, and with the little catchphrases, you want it, just swipe, like it's stuff like that.
And the ever-present duck face, of course.
Oh, man. I'm glad you said it, Charlie.
Yeah, with a little swollen tip sticking out between his fucking thumb and first finger.
Oh.
I know that there was one time when I was probably one of the very few guys that someone swiped, they probably swiped right on more than just me, but I was one of the few guys that they actually got in a conversation with, because I think part of it is because a lot of guys do, like, the first message is really creepy or something, and it's like, not everybody wants to have sex.
This is true.
I killed the conversation.
No. Everybody else was in chats in the background just trying to get it done first. I know that whole thing. You could see it. It was funny. Yeah. We should bring this guy in. I've got him at 1.25 speed. Aimee, do you want 1.5 just so we can get through this shit?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Poppin' Fresh has more to say.
Thank you, I guess.
I put on a cape trying to save one, and guess what? It did not work out in my favor. So the biggest rule out of this one is that you don't want to put on that cape. You don't want to save these girls, because I promise they might kind of manipulate you into thinking they're a changed woman, but whenever they are given the chance to act in a promiscuous way, it's going to bother you, and it will be prevalent, and it will show up again. And there are a few red flags that you can actually screen out for a promiscuous woman, but you don't even want to bother it in the first place. And definitely do not get into a relationship with a promiscuous woman. Like, if your bros are telling you that she's been around town or she's been with your whole entire friend group, bro, what are you doing trying to cuff this chick? Because it's only going to come right back to you. Remember, you cannot change a hoe into a housewife, and if you try to, you're going to learn the hard way like I did. So hang up that cape and only run with girls who don't give you those signals. Number 3.
What a thing to do with your own bitterness.
Oh.
He just gave a whole bunch of not confident people that would have just met somebody because they were out shopping and started talking about turnips or whatever the fuck they were both looking at the same time. The worst advice in the world. And those two people, at least the guy, is going to fuck it right up.
Mm.
You know?
I think we're all speechless about this guy.
Yeah.
You know
And I
what?
bet it gets worse.
I think it's one of them
We're only
things
3 in.
where, like, even just on an intuitive level, he's wrong. Like, sometimes it is something where intuition can be wrong, but I think intuition is just right with when it comes to it's telling you this guy's wrong.
Aimee, should we start a gong vote right now, just in the chat? You know, type gong if you want this guy kicked off the screen, and we'll move on to the next one. What do you think?
Yes, please, because he's just objectifying women, and that's kind of gross. So yeah, if everybody wants this dude gone, can you please type gong in the chat? And if we get enough, we'll get rid of this dude and go.
Oh, there you go. Look at all those gongs. Like,
Yeah. Well, here,
Yeah.
let me bring him.
Headache.
Let me bring him back in to reinforce how many gongs we need. Okay, here, this won't take long. Trust me.
Yeah, watch it, Jared. I see you. Let the torture continue. No.
Is that you must realize that you as a man are the prize. And she must know that and
it's
feel that
coming.
way about you
I
too.
can feel it.
For a
I
lot
can
of
feel
dating
it.
standards and what I've seen, women
can
are positioning
feel it.
themselves as a prize and kind of
This reminds me of a song. One of the lines is "You may think your dick is a gift. I promise you, it's not."
Right. Perfect.
And I think that just embodies this guy in a nutshell.
Yeah. I have to say, Dick, that was one of the best gongs I've ever felt on the show.
His nuts are in a shell, all right. That's for sure.
Yeah, I was getting a bloody migraine from that guy. Jesus.
And there's more. That's just it. There's so much more. You think he's bad? Aimee, do you think he was the worst yet of what we saw lately?
Shockingly, no.
Yeah, I know Planner Walk. You probably don't think he was the worst of what's out there.
Oh dear God!
I mean, Andrew Tate is pretty. It's pretty hard to top what Andrew Tate says. So,
Good God.
Oh, it's the way he delivers it. He's so confident. He has absolutely not
He's
a
so
doubt
gross.
about anything he's saying, and he's trying to convince as many people as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, it's bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, this guy was just scratching the surface of poo-poo. So yeah.
He was a bit, I hate to say, like a wannabe. Like he was kind of loud. He was a little watered down about it. He was just like you know, somebody who's been through a bunch of bad relationships and feeling a little bitter with a microphone. That's about it, you know.
It's like Dick said pre-show. What I keep coming back to in my mind is, why in the hell would you? Where do you think you're going to get posting this stuff online?
I know. There was a great shout out in the chat from Chris Durham Music Channel. Hey Dawson, can we replace the gong sound effect with a toilet flush? These incels deserve their own special sound.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea, actually.
Yeah, I'm going to do it for next
exactly.
time. For sure.
Perfect. Perfect. So shall we go to the I cringe to say this, but shall we go to the next one, please?
Yeah. Which one do you guys want now?
Whichever one you have lined up next, please, is fine.
Well, I've got it's a 21-minute video, never date a single mother.
Ooh.
And then it's slash Coach Red Pill.
I watched this one. It's aggravating. So play it.
Bad. But I should find this one interesting.
Oh dear God!
Yes.
I'm going to have to mute just so you don't hear the expletives. Go ahead.
My son is 15 years old. I have only dated single moms since like a long time ago, because otherwise I would be that creepy old dude. What the fuck? You know?
Yeah, and we're not terrible people, us single parents. It's just I'm so tired of that. Okay. Yeah, it's just some of us aren't single parents because we messed up. Some of us are single parents because, well, poop happens. And, I'm a widow. I'm sorry you don't like that, but oh well.
Yeah.
If you're going to say
Put that
about
in
the
your-
single parent, say more about the one who left or the situation, but it's just wrong. Yeah.
It is, and people are single parents for a variety of reasons, not because what these guys think. They only think of one reason, which is they're thinking a garden implement. Let's just put it that way, because I still was saying that word. Yeah, sorry. I grew up in a very conservative household, so yeah, that's a tough word for me to say. But yeah, it's just, not it's. And even single parents who have, had birth control fail, that it's doesn't mean they're a hoe. It's just really kind of gross. It's just, come on, guys, go easy on people.
I'm curious as to actually how they're going to coach that around an actual point, that they're just taking a whole class of situation and just like trying to demean on it. Like how? Like what is it actually supposed to represent? I'm curious.
Exactly.
Now, I think that a lot of people sort of take this view of the father should, once you have a kid, you should always stick together. And I think the problem with that is it does lead to abuse because, if you have a kid and just stick together, it's like, what if one person is abusing the other? Like, what about because I think that it is important that if you're raising a child, you should... the parents should be happy with their relationship because otherwise the child is going to feel the ramifications of that.
Exactly.
Oh, absolutely, they will.
Yeah, and I agree with that. That if a man should not be forced into parenthood against his will based on society. That there should be options and conversations that happen beforehand and all of that. And I will admit it doesn't often happen, as much as we would like. That there are women who do that, unfortunately. But I don't think that the single woman with the child, that a lot of times those situations are all so varied and different.
Oh, absolutely.
It has much to do with that. Because the woman who's doing that to a man is definitely going to be manipulative enough to find a replacement if she's no longer single anyway.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And you'll see history of that.
Yeah. So
and it goes both ways. Like, like sometimes it can be the guy that's abusive, and if a woman wants to leave a guy because he is abusive, I think she should, because otherwise it's going to affect the child.
Exactly. It will. So that's what you're going to put into consideration first. It's it's definitely something that I do take into consideration. Because I think of Matt, I got what's gonna, how is he going to be able to handle things like that? But but all good.
Yeah.
All righty. So shall we get right into this, please? Let's see what this jerk has to say.
Let's shell.
Yes, please. Oh, Dick, are you there? Uh-oh. Did we go down or something?
Did we?
Dawson!
Uh-oh. Hopefully he didn't.
Yeah, Jared brings up a good point about the statistics about single parent homes to two family homes, and how the statistics almost always will actually infer that two parent homes have better adjusted children or better performing children in life. But they forget to add in all the other factors. Like, I don't think they're going into it. First of all, those two parent homes, they're not saying what type of two parents, whether it came from a single parent home and then married into a two parent situation, and or if it comes from divorce and then remarriage. I don't know, it could be the addition of time, having more people involved. always is a better situation. I don't necessarily think it involves whether it's two parents or not. You know,
That's
they're not adding all
that's
the other
what-
factors in. And I would like to see the therapy bills. They got them there. Let's just say. You don't think
You know
they
what?
add those in.
I think that there is something even better than a 2-parent household, right? And that
Yeah.
is a 3-parent household.
Why not?
I mean, coming from a 2-parent household doesn't necessarily make you brighter. I mean, Jim Jeffries summed it up perfectly, didn't he, in his show? If you're a fuckwit and your partner's a fuckwit, guess what your kids are going to be? Just condensed. Absolutely.
Exactly. Exactly.
If anything, it just contributes to what we all believe, that when you apply time and give the attention where it's necessary to developing a fully grown individual with good critical thinking skills and able to handle their own, that takes a lot of time. And maybe that is the benefit of having 2 or 3 or 4 or more people involved. You know, coming from a family situation myself where I was alone with my daughter, but I had a whole family with me. So it wasn't like it was just a single parent home. There were 5 people in the house. My child was always with family, always with all the same mindset, all of us working towards the same goal. So, like, how does that fit into the statistics? I don't think it does. And, you know,
Right.
I think she would have performed just as well if matched up to a 2-parent household. And if not, I mean, she's college graduate, you know, she got a great life, you know, a great job, you know, family, well adjusted and well up there. So, you know, I don't know how the statistics play with that. I think it's more in the time spent in cultivating the environment than it is the actual 1 or 2 parents, whether that's an actual parent or not. You know what I mean, Aimee? It's
Absolutely.
Can I jump in here quick? I'm not putting it on the screen because I'm not giving it that much attention, but somebody in the chat said, why do many black men leave their kids with their mother and disappear? And my response was, whoa, you better send a link in to back that shit up, man. What the fuck? So,
yeah, that's,
you know, come on now.
Yeah. You know, may I say something, Dick? Like, I don't want to be rude, but that's a rabbit hole I'd like to throw you down, sir, and let you dig yourself out of. Like, we're not going to comment on that kind of crap. That's what that was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Well said.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So, did you guys want this next video here? Sorry, Aimee.
No, that's all right. No, that's fine. Yes, please, if we could, that would be great. That way we can see what this jerk has to say about single parents, and then I can go off on him afterwards. That'd be fun. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. All right. Now, if they're one of those sloth talking motherfuckers, I'll speed it up right away. But here we go. Never date a single mother. Oh, dear God.
Okay. Yeah, here
So
we
the
go.
single mother meets a guy, you, and you can provide her with a decent life because, you know, presumably you've got a good job or a little business or what have you. So what is her incentive going to be? To land you. That's her incentive. She's going to try to land you no matter what. And she will say and do anything to please you, anything to get you. And once she has you, once she has married you, what do you think she's going to be like? So this is the second time I'm doing this aspect ratio testing. I don't really care for it, so I think that this will be the last time I do it. But I want to be thorough, so that's why I'm doing it this last time, just to make sure that I'm getting as much out of it as I possibly can. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started.
We need to stop listening to
I did a video called Never Date a Girl Over the Age of 25 that got a lot of criticisms and critiques and what have you. And it sort of like struck a nerve. And then I went and did another video called, Avoid Damaged Girls. And that also struck a nerve, right? You know, there are a lot of women who came out of the woodworks and shit all over me. Well, they're perfectly within their right to do so. There were some guys, though, who asked me, what about girls with a kid, i.e. single mothers? What if you find a girl who's under the age of 25 and who is not damaged, but she has a kid? Is it okay to date a single mother? And I'm here to tell you, never date a single mother. Ever. Never date a single mother, period. Never date her. No exceptions. Never date.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Oh,
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if I should say this, but I think he has a certain kink.
I do too.
You know, I think he likes women shitting all over him.
Yeah, because I've discovered through other people's fault, not my own, that sleeping around with married women usually leads to disaster. You fucking marionette-looking mother. Seriously, have you ever seen a guy who looked more like the model they use to see if somebody can take a human head anally? It's him.
So you think he's a human butt plug?
Yeah, and his ears have been structured accordingly to make sure that they cause the most effect, to make sure that things are all to plumb.
Exactly. And what's wrong with single mothers dating?
Apparently, we're only in it to get a husband, or
or to get a man for their money instead of.
Because it's obviously not this dingbats looks or intellect. It's not even his humor. Although I'd rather think he was making a joke there.
I guess me and my mom had a unique relationship because when she started dating again, she ran it all by me and we talked about everything.
Oh.
Right. And sometimes dating is just dating. It don't have to be. As a single parent, who had time for that bullshit? Like I would have. Might have been entertaining to plant him one.
Right. It's as a single parent, that was my major concern was first and foremost is Matthew. But the cool thing is I have a lot of great friends and I have someone who, we're getting very close. The first words he ever heard from me out of my mouth was something about Matthew. Everybody knows about it. And he loves him too. I was worried at first, but now I'm not. It's because, of course, I put my son first. And, it's just.
Of course, Aimee, that's the reality of it. The insecurity of this man, because he can't compete with the fact that a woman is always going to put her child first. You need to be a strong man to come into the life of anyone with another child. And a woman also coming into the life of a man who has a child with somebody else. You have to be strong and secure and willing to accept that once you become a parent, your priorities are just a little bit different. And you have to understand that. And apparently this Neanderthal is just not tough enough for that situation. And he's missing out on a lot. He is.
Well, that's it. And no, I'm not under 25. So there we go. So I'm someone who, who isn't the norm according to this jerk, but if Jesus, this just bugs the shit out of me because are people not supposed to be be able to have a life ever because they had a child? That's just the stupidest crap I've ever heard. I think it's just absolute bullshit. And there are a lot, like I said before, I swore, I'm sorry. Like I've said before too, that not all single women, single mothers are single mothers because of relationship breakups in the way of, like a divorce or they just weren't compatible. Some people actually, Matt was too. I didn't. Wasn't my intention when I married my husband and had my son was to become a single mother at all. It's dumb, and to say that and another good question how about war widows? People, women who have children and their husbands go off to war and die. What is are these also the women he's talking about? How fair is that? It's like these people are just so disgusting, and this one really made me angry, so I had to put it in here.
No, man, it's quite personal, and it's hard not to be overly judgmental about him. Like I'm trying to find his point, and I'm lacking in grace.
Claire, Aimee, look at it from the man's point of view. So my choices as a 52-year-old single father are people that still have to, finish college, so kids, those that have drunk and junkied their life away and don't have their own children, and the dead. That's what he's left me with.
Right.
Right.
Because if we have children, we're off the market for you, eh? Like,
yeah.
Because clearly you can't.
But I have a child. And so if I meet somebody else that has a child or two, then we can do the whole, it takes 6, 7, 8 months to really get to know each other, integrate the kids and stuff. But it works. If it works, you've got the Brady Bunch without the video cameras, right? It does have like this guy. Seriously, if you look, he's got hairy arms, but suspiciously clean hands.
Yeah. I'm actually suspicious of why he doesn't want to be around anyone with children. Like, I think he's got issues, to tell you the truth. I do. And I can't actually see him being in a situation where he gets a family, actually.
I think that a big problem here is that a lot of these incel types forget that emotions play a role in these things. They always see that the motivation for people wanting to get with someone is either sex or money or something like that, and they forget that emotions are a thing.
You know what? And the irony of is all of this rhetoric that they are spewing out here comes from deep emotion of their own insecurities, and that is what's blowing me away. That they're actually acting like no emotion has anything to do with it. And yet everything that they're spitting out comes from their own deep inability to deal with those emotions that they have. And it's just quite ironic to me. Yeah, quite ironic.
I'm just calling out Charles Martel in the chat there. Sorry to be the bearer of bad tidings, little cranky man. But AT2 Productions in the chat just sent me a web link all about race and single parenthood and stuff and the numbers and so on. And when you said that whole thing about why do black men yada yada blah blah blah, you proved yourself to be looking like a real piece of trash. I highly suggest you clean up your act and try live chat again. It's not looking well, dude.
Or check the facts. So citation, please. Check the facts.
Yeah.
First.
Yeah. But
Definitely.
I asked for a link and I got it from somebody who really wanted to make sure this guy heard it. So I'm calling it out.
Thank you.
No way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. And yeah. You're skating close to bigotry there, and we don't like that here. So we'll leave it. Nope. Not on our watch. But thank you.
Yeah. So this guy's on 1.25 speed, Amy. Do you want him on 1.5 now and we'll start the gong vote?
Yes, please.
All right. So you heard it.
Activate the warp drive.
Yeah.
Warp drive activate. Warp drive activate.
Oh, hey, I got that. Hold on. Here we go.
Okay. I'm going to ask you the same 5 questions you cannot
Hold on.
Okay.
Holy Spirit, activate.
Oh, no.
Holy Spirit,
no. Oh, no.
activate. Holy Spirit, activate. 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 All right, let's go.
What the?
Hey, this fuck needs all the help he can get, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, here we go.
A single mother. There are absolutely no exceptions to this rule, and I'm going to tell you why. I mean, Jesus Christ, there are so many reasons why you should never date a single woman. Excuse me, not a single woman, a single mother. Single mothers are a disaster. They will wreck your life. There is nothing good can come out of such a relationship. I mean, in my own case, see, whenever I meet a woman who is a single mother...
Does this guy think people are listening to him? I mean, I don't get the point. I really don't.
Sadly, people do.
What's going to happen if he does get someone convinced to marry him and he has children? Since he only wants to be the number one. Is he like, I kind of feel for those kids.
That's a serious hypothetical, Claire, because that ain't happening.
Well, you know me, rose-colored glasses, always out there with the way the world should be. I don't know, but still, yeah. Can you imagine? I mean, he's really got this thing. I mean, Tony made a point in the chat that he just wants to be number one. In a relationship, you cannot always be number one. That's not a relationship. You know, just
there is no number one unless there's a child.
You know, it's relating one to the other. Yeah.
Mhm.
Not everybody can be number one all the time.
I think it
Exactly.
goes back to something that I said earlier about the whole, you know, a lot of people do stay in relationships. You know, well, yeah, a lot of people stay in toxic relationships because they're worried what might happen if they leave. And one of the things is,
Right.
what if you can't find someone? What if you can't find someone else? Should you stay in that relationship? And I don't think so. This person is adding to that sort of toxicity by making it harder for people that are in abusive relationships to leave, because, you know, they do want someone else to raise a kid with. But, you know, it's because raising a kid, I haven't done it, but I assume it's hard. I was probably a handful for my mother.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
It's interesting. We'll just call it that, right? Right. Yes, raising a kid is very interesting. I'll put, yeah. No, it can be, you know, it has its moments. It's hard, but it's rewarding it all at the same time, you know. It's like, yeah, and sometimes you want to do that. Crack open a No, I'm just kidding. I would never do that. No, and you know, I'm lucky. I got Matt up to the age of 17. We both survived. He's a teenager. But yeah, you know, it's a difficult thing, and so to put your child first, you know, isn't a bad thing. You know, and this guy claims that every single mother out there ever is going to mess up your life. That is so intellectually lazy to not even be funny. I mean, this guy is a freaking idiot and so intellectually lazy as to not even be funny. That's just the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. That's just dumb. None of us are out there looking to wreck anybody's lives, you know. We want the same things everybody else does. We're healthy, normal people. So
I think that there's a big solution to his problems, though. You know, what if he just gets with one of the incel guys that, you know, he makes content for?
Perfect.
You know,
That's perfect.
Oh my goodness.
It solves a whole lot of issues, I think.
Kill two birds with one stone. There you go. All set. Solves their dating issues, and you know, hey, he doesn't have to worry about single mothers. So there, and they'll never get pregnant. That's brilliant. I love it.
Well, how much of this incel behavior is actually aggressively closeted homosexuality? I mean, it's got to be something.
Oh,
Well,
that's the question a lot of people were about to answer. I think Planner Walk, do you want to get in?
I actually don't think it is. I think that they genuinely would like to get with women, but they just don't have, you know, they don't have the personality to be able to do that.
I
think,
agree. Yeah.
I think that there are legitimately some issues, like societal issues, that can sort of exacerbate these things. Like first off, let's
exacerbate. What a choice of words.
First off, let's take something like autism. Now, this is nothing against people with autism, right? But I think that a lot of people with autism, they are unable to read social cues. They don't know how to properly act in social environments. Exactly. I myself, I'm not sure if I've got autism. I might. I know that I have ADHD. And I found it hard to work out what I was supposed to do socially growing up, because I had never been taught that. And I think what needs to happen is we need to have better education for people that don't understand things like social cues, because it's something that you can learn eventually, but it takes a while.
Yes. Aimee and I know exactly what you're talking about. Absolutely.
Oh, definitely. That's something I've worked with. Matt's 17 now. It's something that I've worked with his whole entire little life there. And the school has been, instrumental in that as well. So they've been very, very, very helpful with that, making sure that, we try so hard to get him to be able to read social cues. And it's just something that we just can't right now, but we're working on it. Definitely working on it.
Small victories lead to better days, and it does.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's never going to be tomorrow, but there is, there's always that plateau, and you're like, yeah, we did it. Oh, wow, is it amazing, right?
Oh gosh, just the tiny baby steps sometimes can just be huge celebrations for us. And they do, he's doing well enough that this year he's going to school without a paraprofessional. We're going to try it the whole school year and see how he does. Woohoo! Mainstream classes. Woohoo!
Yay. On point to what Planet Walk just said, in regards to him feeling like not having the, I guess what you would say, the tools to actually process it. These gentlemen coming from this insecurity, when I'm looking at it, I want to give them like a little bit of grace and to say that they actually are coming from a place of total confusion. Maybe not so in a heterosexual versus homosexual way, but actually in a, here are strong men that I look to, that I should be looking up to because they're fit, they're rich, they're well off, and they say that they're getting everything that they want. And yet here are women saying, treat me right, do this, and you can have what you want. But then there's others like, it's manipulative, it's this. It's actually just not wanting to weigh in on either way, of not wanting to be wrong, being so insecure and so fearful of what is expected of them, what the right answer is, that they just don't choose. And so now they blame everyone for their inability to do it, to do better for themselves, to actually reach for anything, to improve on anything, because of the hopelessness. No matter what they choose, somebody's going to come for them,
But there's also the angle of your ability to have cheap one-night stands or, 3 months hookup with people should not be a measure of who you are as a person. That's a joke.
When did that become a status? Well, I know it always has. I mean, I'm not naive.
But only in groups that nobody wants to be in, right?
But it's not a goal. It's actually not a goal, because here they are, they're judging you for how many people you may have slept with if you're a woman, but you're a man out there aggressively trying to sleep with as many women as you can. So you're like stacking the odds against that you're going to find somebody that's only been with one or two, and have the standards that you are actually looking for, and just blaming a whole sex, like blaming all the women in the world for that precipice that you've actually put us on. I just think that speaking on the incels alone, not so much these alphas, but I can't even speak on the alphas. They just it's just entitlement is a thing. that's all I got to say. And ignorance usually goes with it. That's all I have to say about that. But for the incels, I'm just trying to figure out how to get into this hopeless negative space where they feel that everything is happening to them, none of it's in their control, and there's nothing they can do about it, and then just get to blame it on just women for it, like totally, and just because they're not getting where they want. And I think it's more.
So speaking of, go ahead, Planet Rock, go ahead.
I was gonna say, so for a long time, I did have trouble with finding a relationship, and I think that it is generally harder for guys to find relationships than it is for women. Generally, I do know some women that have had trouble finding relationships, so you do have that. But I think that the issue is that society is weighted in a certain way, and this does make it harder for guys because guys, how do I put it? Like I'm gonna need to work out how to phrase this, because there is a certain way that I need to phrase this. I'm trying to say something without repeating myself. Like, it's just generally harder for guys because girls can sometimes be a little bit pickier, but then also guys tend to also be a lot more, I guess, in a way, undesirable, if you know what I mean. Like, there's a lot more undesirable guys than girls in a way. I hope I'm not saying
No.
wrong.
No.
Like, there are guys that don't even shower.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's never a good look.
Unless he wants to hook up with a woman who doesn't want to shower, then I guess.
Or smell. Not a good look or smell.
There might be a new cult, the showerless.
Yeah, but if you've got a couple of people that don't bathe all the time and feel that patchouli oil is the cover that everybody needs, hey, all the power to you. You know, everybody's in the same boat. It don't matter. But if you're one of those people that thinks like the shower is something you only hit a couple of times a week, again, when you're at the grocery store, don't expect that extra look.
You know, this reminds me, I got called out last night because I often say that looks don't matter when I'm looking for someone I would be in a relationship with, or looking kindly towards someone I feel that romantically towards.
Yeah, but
I did get called out with that. They said, "Oh yeah, so you're going to tell me
no
5'5" guy shows up with stringy hair that hasn't bathed in 6 weeks, and just because he can hold a conversation, you're going to be interested?" I'm like, "Okay, you got me." No,
yeah.
You're right. Yeah, it's true.
You know, I mean, if you're doing the whole living in a van down by the river thing, get yourself a membership at the local YMCA. They got showers. You'll still be able to get somebody to have that campfire and experience the van. Have a shower.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, the other things would mean more to me, but yeah, I can't actually say that, you know, being clean is not a factor.
Yeah. You know?
Being semi taken care of, you know.
I mean, yeah, Plenterwalk.
I also worked out a way to sort of reinforce the point that I was making earlier, because I think that there is this thing where girls do get approached by a lot more guys, right? Like, generally, girls won't approach guys to ask guys to go out with them. Generally, sometimes they do, but generally it's a guy approaches a girl, and if you're a girl, you will get approached by quite a few guys, and that gives you more choice, right? But eventually you might end up with a guy that's like, that people look at it and go, "You ended up with that guy?" Because, you know, I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, there is generally a lot more choice when it comes to if you've got more people approaching you, you do have more choice, and I think that's part of what makes it so lopsided. Like, if you look in Japan, it is kind of shifted where girls tend to approach guys, because there's a lot of guys that have sort of just been like, "No, I'm going to spend time with my anime waifu and not deal with real girls." And so girls there have gone, "Well, I'm going to approach guys now," you know?
Yeah, for whatever reason, I've been approached more than I've done the approaching, and I'm fine with that. Pretty introverted.
Well, I've got a title here that I really think would be the last of the WoW videos, and then maybe we could get to reading a little bit of the text that we have as well. But this one's title definitely makes me think Aimee is going to want it next. This is "She Brings Personality and Good Looks to the Table."
Yes, please. That would be brilliant.
Now, this one is like a 20-minute video, but it was sent in with a timestamp of 15 minutes some. I'm not sure if I should start from the timestamp or should I start fresh.
I get the feeling that it's going to get gonged out if we don't start from the timestamp.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Yeah, do the timestamp, please. So that would be perfect.
All right. You know, Planner Walk, I do believe you just actually talked gold. Because that's it.
That was brilliant.
All right, so here we go. This is going to be a load of bullshit, and don't forget to scream, and I will throw in one of the funny pauses.
Yes, it sucks that you have to deal with the obstacle of guys trying to hit on you and bang you, but for that one producer that's trying to sleep with you, you might meet 5 others in the same room that can help you.
That's like 100. Honestly, like I get that, but I can also kind of debate that I was young at that time, and I was like around older men who were like, "Well, listen to me. I can guide you. I can make your dreams come true." But I was younger. So when people talk to me like that, I'm just like, "Well, Aaron, no, back it up. Take it easy, take it slow." But that was when I was young. I feel like now, as an older person, I probably would have been able to handle that situation.
Yeah. Well, there's pros and cons to everything, right?
Yeah, for sure.
With great power comes great responsibility, right? As Spider-Man Uncle Ben said. So you're getting into rooms and meeting these types of guys, but what comes with that is, people are going to try to take advantage to some degree. There's always a negative with everything. So, but I would say a lot of people would kill to have that opportunity, though, versus, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's my rebuttal to you. Did you have some?
I definitely have something to add on.
Yeah,
to
sure.
that.
Go ahead.
Because being a female model and musician, that is the game plan. The game plan is, these rappers will slide into your DMs because they want to fuck you.
Yeah.
You're supposed to know how to carry the conversation. I've had various rappers slide into my messages, and I've carried the conversation to where we're friends and where a feature is possible. But you have to do that. You have to be that female to be able to cater the conversation and change the conversation. I'm friends with a billion rappers. Friends, nothing more, because now
these guys seem like they're a little bit on the aggressive side, and I'm almost getting a feeling like she's trying to fit into the conversation and enable it without actually being a part of it and trying to step away from it. I'm hearing a dance here. Anybody getting this?
Yeah, I'm thinking people are going to get booted.
Exactly.
I don't know.
I recently watched a video, and I think I recognized this podcast from that video. I can't remember what the video was called. It was like an hour-long video which talked about people like Jordan Peterson and, or I should have called him Lobster Daddy, but
So
did I kill the conversation again?
No, I was
I'm just
typing
trying to
again.
think of what his name is. I recognize him, and I'm trying to think of. Yeah.
These guys are fresh and fit.
That's fresh and fit.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's a usual fresh and fit conference, half those women will be out of there in no time. Like they just start throwing them out left and right, just because. Yeah.
They do. They get and they're the types that go over some of, like they go on to Instagram and they get the Instagram models and say, see, this is how all women are. And that's what they do. They're just doing the whole lumpy lump thing that I don't like. Yeah. All the whole, the intellectually lazy thing, it's women are bad. Our time is more valuable than yours if you're a woman, and we're rah, 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 He-Man Woman Haters Club. So yeah. So yeah, that's it. That's exactly what this podcast is. And it's there. They have some interesting things to say. But
Look at the table. Look at the table. It looks like it was designed by 14-year-olds. Holy fuck.
I know, but there's 8 people there, and I can assure you, if of those 6 women, if any of them expresses an opinion that is against fresh or fit, they'll be ejected from the room for being disrespectful, not following the plan, or trying to disrupt the series thing. If it's like any of the other ones that I've seen that people have sent me clips,
Well, there's only 2 minutes left. Should we kick it back in and see what happens?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
All right, here we go. Button's not working. There we go. All right.
now, after speaking to me and talking to me and knowing, okay, she's this way. Because automatically their presumption is, I'm this person, I can get whatever I want because it's happening. Left, right, like it's happening. So when you're different or you stand out or you actually try a little bit harder or you have a conversation with them, different conversation having nothing to do with them or their music or their status or anything. Like, where did you grow up? Where did you go to school? What high school did you go to? Just regular things. It will even it out for you. Like with my manager, that was one of the main things we talked about, because as a game plan in the industry, that's what you have to do. You have your networking is your everything. Your networking is your all. How you talk to people, your cadence in talking to people, what you know to say to somebody, because you have to read people and know what they're going to be receptive to and what they're not going to be receptive to, based on energies, based on body language, based on feelings, based on everything. So I agree with you, because a female in the music industry can definitely jump faster. The stardom will go faster than a guy, because in a guy, I can't go in the studio with Future because he's going to be like, who the fuck is this nigga? Let me get the fuck out. Like, who is this? A girl can go in the studio with Future and all of a sudden sing a little cadence of a hook and hold on. Yo, what's that? Let me hop on it. It really is that
easy.
Wow, I gave that the gong just because at that point I fucking had to. She just solidified that sex sells, and I can be a whoever, but as long as you think you're getting some, I'm in the studio singing. Wow.
Exactly, the other side of the coin, the other side of the dismissive behavior. Yeah,
exactly. That's exactly it. And there's a reason why they have these women who think this way on. They're trying to paint this broad brush where everybody is, see, these are what women are like. And that's what they do on that podcast. They do that all the time. They do that. There are others that are out there that are like that too, that are even worse. They'll find all those TikToks that have those same things and they'll do the same thing. They'll pick the most out there extreme ones and say, see, this is what women are like, and this is why you have a hard time dating. And they show enough of those, and it's convincing enough for people that that's what they fall for. And they're already looking into this, and that fits their bias, and there you go.
And just to play devil's advocate a little bit here, that woman, unfortunately, in what she said, is going to be judged by both sides harshly. On the one side, like you said, he's going to be using it to support that all women are like this, and women like you and I are going to say, damn, like, you don't have to do that to get ahead. Like, that is not the way. But then again, let's just boil it down to something simple, like say the art of war. Okay. She would be praised for using an opportunity that the opposite side had a weakness on, would she not? If we were just talking not men and women, but the art of war, she would be a general. She would be like way up there. She would be like clever and you get all the points. But here you are turning the situation to your advantage that you can't help. This is the way it is. And you're just using it to your advantage to get where you want to go, which would be to win the war. And that is putting it in very simplistic terms, but if we don't look at it that way, then she just gets judged by both sides, just for surviving in a situation she has really no control over changing. She needs to get ahead, right? Well, what other option? I know it's very distasteful how she's saying she does it, but let's be clear about what other options are there for her. Really.
Agreed.
Exactly. Thank you, Claire. That's perfect.
Yeah, I'm a little good devil's advocate, eh?
Yes, you are. Very perfect, actually. That's brilliant. That's why you're on here all the time.
Got horns holding up your little cat ears.
Charlie, no secret telling, man. I thought we were friends.
Just kidding. Yeah. So, do we have time for another one, please? Or should we get to some of our articles that we had listed? Claire,
Aimee, my thought was to go to the article Red Pill to Black Pill, It's not too long, but maybe it is too long. Who knows? But I do believe that it'll spawn the conversation that'll send the show off just perfectly.
Yes, please. And those articles don't take very long at all. We can go ahead and read right through that. So that's brilliant. Thank you. And what I'll do is I'll pin it so I can see it. And then there, thank you. And then I'll tell you when to scroll. How's that sound?
All right.
Okay. Red pill to black pill. The red pill, a term that comes from the 1999 film The Matrix, has become the framework for individuals to describe their awakening to some previously hidden supposed reality. The major contemporary, it's starting to get fuzzy there. The major contemporary secular male supremacist movements, PUAs, men's rights activists, the red pill, and men going their own way, MGTOW, all use this terminology to describe the realization that men do not hold systemic power or privilege. Instead, they awaken to the truth that socially, economically, and sexually, men are at the whims of women's and feminist power and desires. As in the film, to be blue-pilled is to accept the mainstream narrative and choose to live in ignorance of the truths of the world. Red pillars see themselves... Yeah, okay.
Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. No, it's hard. Yeah. Okay, I think you might have to scroll up a tiny touch because I think I missed part of that. Yep. Okay. Red pillars see themselves as intellectually superior to blue-pilled normies. The red pill terminology grew in male supremacist forums and was adopted more broadly by far-right and white supremacist groups as well to describe their own versions of awakenings. Can you scroll up, please? Thank you. Yeah. Conspiracist worldviews that often overlap with male supremacist positions such as anti-feminism. Beginning around 2016, misogynist incel forums began to shift from a red pill to an increasing black pill mentality. This belief system accepts the red pill view of society dominated by women, but rejects individual level attempts such as learning game to achieve a sexual relationship with women as misguided, asserting that only change at a societal level has the possibility to be effective. Black pill adherents believe that looks are genetically determined, and women choose sexual partners based solely on physical features, lookism. So whether or not a person will be an incel is predetermined. Misogynist incels attempt to prove the truth of the black pill through misreadings of scientific studies, online data sets, and their own experiments to prove that women only care about a man's physical looks. Although some incels still seek out plastic surgery, workout, which is gym maxing. Can you scroll up a little, please? Thank you. And yeah, it'll open up for me to say, or try to otherwise improve their physical features. Many believe such strategies are pointless as inceldom is a problem with society, not the individual. Black-pilled incels are aware of appearance and sociability game strategies and reject them as solutions. The black pill philosophy typically offers only two options for what to do with their, and can you scroll up a little bit, please? Thank you. Yeah. And to offer their new accepted reality, accept their fate as an incel or try to change society to their benefit, usually advocated as potentially achievable by means of mass violence, which we've seen before, and terror, not politics or other methods of change. Copes are looked down on as methods of coping and without changing the system, the unjust system, including denying the reality of the black pill. For those who choose to accept their black-pilled fate, suicide is often presented as the most inevitable solution. Jeez. It is also encouraged in misogynist incel communities as a form of sacrificial violence and or martyrdom. Incels talk about potential self-harm, giving up hope, or suicide by using phrases such as rope, committing suicide by hanging oneself, LDAR, lay down and rot, or sewer fuel, suicide fuel. Sewer fuel, it's over, brutal, and it never began are popular responses to and tags for posts that members feel exemplify the truth of the black pill. Internal polls shared on incels.co have asked members when they think they will rope. In some cases, users explicitly state, I have to kill myself, or say that they will commit suicide by the time they are a certain age if they are still an incel. This is scary. While some fellow members respond to suicidal comments with sympathy, others urge posters on with harmful comments, asking those who have expressed suicidal ideation why they are still posting and have not yet committed suicide. or attempted suicide, I'm sorry. When active members stop posting for an extended period of time, this frequently leads to forum speculation that they have completed suicide. However, that absence could instead represent men withdrawing the online community, and data is not currently available to ascertain what is occurring. Regardless, there is substantial difference between a community being vulnerable to self-harm and promoting and threatening violence against others. Members expressing suicidal ideation on misogynist incel forums are also encouraged to go ER or be a hero, meaning commit mass murder before committing suicide. This is bad. Many misogynist incels don't just advocate for suicide as a solution to inceldom, but also to create structural change through first committing mass violence. As with the Santa Barbara perpetrator, martyrdom is revered. The Toronto van attacker told police that he hoped to commit suicide by cop, a common plan for perpetrators of mass violence. For Black pill adherents seeking to change society rather than simply accept their fate, the use of mass violence to forcibly overthrow the system and force normies to take notice is positioned as a key pathway to structural change.
Whoa.
Right? Like
that was hard to read.
Yeah.
That was
Jeez.
Wow.
And this is not somebody who's like, just making this shit up. This is somebody who stumbled through the forums and collectively looked through things and gone, wow,
Absolutely.
This was indeed the most disturbing part of the research that we did all week, if finding out about that.
Yeah. I mean, it's really bad. And this is why we got that person in Santa Barbara when he killed those women. I believe there was one in Montreal with McGill University. Wasn't there, Dick, as well? That guy?
Well, from what I read, Aimee, the first person who posted a post that started the incel movement was a woman in Toronto.
Wow.
That was surprising.
That is surprising. That's very surprising to hear that.
Yeah.
But then again, Michelle Dauber exists like over there at Stanford, right, Aimee? So we shouldn't be that surprised.
No, that is very true. And it all goes down to these radical people who just get radicalized over the internet, which is not such a good thing. We talked about that with that, and it can happen on all sides, and we're seeing it here too as well. This is really scary. They're advocating for mass violence. They're advocating for hurting other people. They're advocating for these people to harm themselves. And oh my God.
Aimee, if I may, one of the even more scary parts of this is, unlike Karens and stuff and people that make a stink in public, these people don't. So you don't see them coming.
That's the scariest part. So you have no warnings. You have no, anything on the radar that will tell you that they're going to do this because they are quiet. There's that old adage where, quiet ones are the ones you have to look out for. Well, in this case, it's very true. And it's very worrisome and it's very troublesome. So how do you stop something that you don't know about?
Yeah, true. But this is a point where when that incel mentality is actually trying to normalize self-destruction, so to speak, either of themselves or mass destruction of others, of things that they cannot change. That's when we got to get stronger and remind them that is cowardly, that is weakness, that is all you're promoting there. When you feel like you can't fix something or you don't want to put the effort into making a change, you'd rather just burn it all to the ground, instead.
Scary as fuck.
It's scary. And that's why our voices have to get louder about how that is. I'm sorry that you feel so weak. But it's not like you're coming to us for help to feel stronger. You're actually isolated against where you can get the help to actually get the encouragement to be more. We should rather be less, and we got to speak.
Exactly.
We've got a very North American approach on this. I wanted to ask Plannerwalk, as it pertains to life in public, I bet you don't see this shit either unless it's online, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like sometimes you can kind of tell when someone, doesn't have great luck with relationships, but it does tend to be something that you do see far more of online because the people that find it difficult to get into relationships, they generally don't go out as much. And I think that can be for a number of reasons. Maybe they don't have friends. And I think that one of the things that a lot of incels don't realize is that what they really need is friends, whether it be guy friends or friends that just so happen to be girls, whatever it is, they need friends, because when you've got friends, it makes it easier to meet new people, which may potentially want to get into a relationship with you. I know that my first relationship, the first relationship that I got into, I met her at school. But the second relationship that I got into, which was the first sexual relationship that I ever had, I met her because a friend of mine had her over at his place when I was there. And we got to speaking, and I found it unusually easy to talk to her. And then I hung out with her for a bit, and pretty quickly we got to, we started dating, and that is the person who I dated for a year and 8 months. So, that was fun. But yeah, I think that what needs to happen is it is a sort of thing of a bit of a tragedy as well, where it's like, it's funny to laugh at them, but at the same time, I do think that there needs to be efforts taken to understand where they're coming from and explain, help them out, rather than just always pointing and laughing, because it is something where if you don't help them out, if you don't give them actually good advice, they're going to get advice, and it may not be the advice that we want them to get. And that's when you get the whole black pill people.
Exactly. That was one of my concerns reading all of that planner work, because I do believe part of the problem is that whole group of where they're coming from, the insecurity and such a low feeling, is the lack of being heard. It's a very basic humanistic accomplishment. When you feel heard, there comes a little bit of security and understanding with another person. And it's just that they just don't feel like what they're going through is being heard. It takes a lot to listen to it, because a lot of what they're saying is just so, make me want to hurl. But at the same time, I have an urge to listen, because I just can't stand the fact that they feel so low on themselves and so insecure that they have to destroy whole sections of us, just to try to make themselves feel better. It is really kind of sad. So I think, there has to be a better change than to just say, hey, you guys are a bunch of morons. Yeah, you are. And you're acting like idiots. Yeah, you are. But to do better, they actually need to be shown better. Which means, like, unfortunately, y'all going to kick me for this one. We got to do better.
Yeah. Here. I'll give an example of do better, right? When I was young, Mr. Musician, playing in the bands and stuff, Charles Martel, listen up, all right, Buttercup. I thought, being Mr. Cool and all that was all that the world had to offer, because I was young and stupid. And sure, I probably had an existence for a little while that, somebody that we're, showing on the channel right now would just fucking envy. But it wasn't cool It wasn't good, and it was not fulfilling. Later on, when I actually met somebody and got married and had a child, that was fulfilling. These ambitions that these people have of being Mr. Man that can just go to the bar and pick up said girl and stuff, all that ends you with is sexual diseases and fucking hangovers and, you know, wishing that certain someone would just fucking wake up and go home. Like, you know, you have no idea what you're asking for. You know, you don't get it.
Yeah, exactly. It's sad because there's a whole faction of men, a whole organization of men that are putting down other men because of this. The alpha man, or, you know, the manosphere, or whatever you want to call it, those that think they are superior to them, or actually treating them, you know, even less than they do women, because they actually are promoting that women have a purpose to them. And actually the incel environment doesn't. It's actually making them feel even worse. So who do they turn to? You know, like,
yeah.
And because I'm definitely not saying try to hear an alpha male. Believe me, there's nothing there you want to hear. Okay.
No, that's the worst person you want to hang out with. Yeah. Even me as a guy, right? I don't want that guy around me either. They're terrible.
Male has been heard. He hears his own voice loud and clear, and he doesn't have any room for any other. So that's like talking to a closed door. I ain't going there. But I really do feel for the other end of it in a way. And I know that sounds ridiculous, being a woman, and here they are, they're ready to blow me up or do worse to me because I'm worthless, because I haven't satisfied them or looked at them a certain way. But on the other hand, what chance have they given me to with that attitude?
Yeah, worthless my ass. A lot of worth around here. Sorry, Planner Walk, go ahead.
Yeah, so I do have to head off, but before I head off, I want to give a bit of advice to anyone out there that may... here we go. Hopefully, there we go. So I want to give advice to anybody out there that may be finding it hard to get a girlfriend, you know? And that is, have personality. Like, it's one of the things that I have, one of the things that I do sometimes is I'll go out wearing these glasses. People love these glasses. Let me tell you. I'll get so many compliments. You know, have people say, I love the glasses, or have people even, like if I go to a party or something, sometimes someone will go, could I wear them for a second? And I'll be like, as long as I get them back. And it's something that, you know, it's a little... it adds to sort of personality. You know, don't make it your whole personality. Don't try and make your whole personality, oh, I have these cool glasses. Don't do that. But, you know, have little quirks about you that make yourself more interesting, because people do like interesting people. And yeah, you may stick out a little bit, but, you know, you will find people that will be like, I like that. And so, yeah, that's what I have to say. I'll stick around, but I'll be completely muted and probably won't be hearing you. So I'll sort of be off, but if you're still going by the time I get back, I'll join back.
Well, funny enough, Planner Walk, is in the background. I was saying this is one of those nights that could go a bit long if everybody has time, right, Aimee?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, it can. This was a good show, and I think it's a good conversation that we're having too. Mm-hmm. I think it's a great idea, and those are great ideas, you know. And I was listening to the conversation while I was trying to convince Matt to do his normal chores for the evening. And yes, we do need to do better. We need to do, you know, if we do know if we can find someone and do know that they're not in a good place, like some of these people are, that either want to commit suicide or commit violence, try to get them the help that, you know, they need. You know, I know that doesn't sound like the right thing to say, but sometimes it's just, we need to do better as a society. We need to do better as a whole planet, for crying out loud. We need to do far better with mental illness, especially, you know, men are supposed to always suck it up. The way it was before. Well, we need to stop that too. We really need to do better. We need to be better. We need to realize that, you know, men have emotions and thoughts and feelings too. And we need to be able to help them with that. And if they have some mental health issues that need to be resolved, we need to be able to help them with that too. And that goes with anybody. If you know of anybody who wants to harm themselves, try to be their friend and get them the help that they need.
Dear God,
and
yes,
get them the
right?
resources. Get them the resources that are needed and just try to be there for them. We really do need to do better as a society because we're not doing so great in the mental health department. And the stigma, please.
And to add to what Planner Walker gave as suggestions, which are all very good, and the glasses are nice, I will admit.
I know, perfect.
Well, coming from a woman's perspective, and even on a humanistic level, I would just say the most important part, if you are actually looking for a friend or a girlfriend, person in your life, it starts with a conversation. And it starts with a conversation. Be willing, start that conversation, and don't put any expectation on it. Don't have an end goal. Start the conversation and go. Because a lot of these people are saying that they don't have friends and, women won't talk to me. They're not talking to women. They're not. Because I don't know many women who don't like to talk. Sorry, Aimee, but yeah, I don't know any women that don't like to talk. And you got to be approachable and open, but you can't be judgmental and have the end game in line, because you're only going to get disappointed. You just have to keep talking. You have to have a conversation.
Absolutely.
Because with conversations, people get heard, and women who are heard are receptive. Period. And that doesn't mean we're receptive to just go get laid. We're just receptive to you. And that is half the battle. I mean, because you have to look at it on the other side. These incels and alphas are out there like, oh, the women, they don't want us to do this. Like, well, yeah, because, with you comes almost a world of judgment and pressure. And we're damned if we do and we're damned if we don't. You want the whole, but you'll marry the good girl. Like, what's that? Like, how am I supposed to be both and then get accused of being some kind of psycho babe because I am? Like, what? Like, it's impossible. So have the open conversation, learn about the person, so all that judgment and shit don't come in first, because end game ruins it all. If all you're doing is pursuing to get to the end goal, you're never going to get there. You're missing the ride. And that kind of is the best part, isn't it?
Right. Right. And sadly that, a lot of them can't see the silver lining in life. And that's really sad.
And yet they crave it. They won't admit it. But what's the incels' problem? Lack of companionship. It ain't sex.
Yes.
Because I'm sure they've getting enough endorphins. They got socks, they got Kleenex, they got lotion. Hey, they can do. All right? That ain't it. It is the actual connection that they're missing. And you don't get that from all that alpha male shit. You're not getting the connection there.
Humility goes a really long way. I will give you an example of my mom's parents. They were married for 60 years, and I never saw them fight. And there was a give and take between the both of them, and they had respect for each other, and respect goes a really long way.
Hear, hear.
Absolutely, 100%. Sorry. Can't type. My microphone was up my nose. Done good. But this conversation was amazing. I'm so glad we've had it. So what are we thinking? How much time should we go? Should we keep going?
Your choice. Your choice.
Yeah, because I just think it's a really good conversation that we should have, and should be an open conversation. Renee and me said that in the chat. We've had some great chatters in the chat tonight too, as well, and thank you for that. I've been talking to everybody in the chat too, and that I could, and then I had others were dealing with others, so that was good too. But yeah, great job in the chat tonight too, and hopefully we've helped someone. Maybe we've highlighted some things that needed to be highlighted. So maybe if it helps one person, then we've done our job.
This is definitely worth revisiting.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We didn't even get through half of the stuff we had. So, Claire, what do you think about doing part 2 next week? Would that be okay to finish off?
I will definitely be here. And based on the comments in the chat and the suggestions, it is a topic that can go very far. They're interested.
Absolutely.
I'm very pleased at the openness of everyone. And Charlie and Planner Walk and Dick and Gary for joining us, and Commander. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. So I think it was really good. I think it's a really good conversation to have, and hopefully, like I said, we can help at least one person, or at least try to get them out of those communities a little bit, because that's just not a good, healthy place to be. It's not healthy at all. So yeah, so I'm thinking that maybe we should go ahead and do a roundtable. That way we can definitely have more time next week to continue the conversation. What do you think, Dick? Would that be good?
Perfect.
Awesome. Thank you. So we'll have part 2 next week. So I'm just going to go ahead and start right around the room. I'm going to start out with Claire. Claire, what are your thoughts on this evening, hon?
Well, I think as much as I spoke, everybody knows my thoughts on this evening already. And I'll just end with saying I look forward to part 2 and more conversations like these, because these are the important things to me out here. Yeah, that's the reason to be here on YouTube, these kind of conversations. So thank you, Aimee and Dick and everybody here, Planner Walk, Charlie, Gary, Commander, and everyone in chat. Just thank you. It was a very pleasant way to spend 2 hours on a difficult subject.
Absolutely.
It was pleasant.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And next up, we do have Charlie Welch. Charlie, what are your thoughts on this evening?
Besides being just hot and hungry, this was a very good conversation, and part 2 is going to be, I think, even better, because we've opened the doors and now we just got to walk through them. And
Absolutely.
just still pretty cool to be on here with Planner Walk. That was cool for me. So thank you, Planner Walk. I know you can't talk.
And thank you so much. I'm just thank you, Charlie, for coming, and we hope that you'll be back next week too for part 2. Will you do that with us?
Yes, ma'am, of course.
Thank you so much. And next up we have Commander 401. Commander, what are your thoughts on this evening?
The parts that I heard were, well, some of them were funny. That thing that you read was serious, and let's for next time get deeper in the conversation, but also have fun. Does anyone remember that video that Validation Boy put out where he was blaming scientists and liberals for the fact that he couldn't get laid because they were telling everyone that the earth was round and he believed it was flat?
Yes, and that's what we're going to do next week. That's why we're going to have part 2, because we honestly, as we were going along, I was thinking, yeah, we really do need a part 2. 2 hours just isn't enough for this one. So definitely part 2 for deeper conversation. So thank you. Yeah, and I'll look into the Validation Boy video as well. It'll be interesting to see and revisit some of those old ones we've had before. And last but not least, we have Dick Dawson. Dick, what are your thoughts on this evening?
Aimee, there's been a few people in the chat who are very, very much loving the new direction of the Uncalled For on Sundays, where sometimes it's hilarious, sometimes it's very deep, sometimes you get both in one show. They're not catching on that that's because Aimee runs the show now. It's hers. So yeah, as much as you think you can PM me to direct this show, you can't. You can try to bug Aimee, but if you bug her a lot, I'll fuck your shit up. So don't bug her a lot, you know. And yeah, just a little. You know, you can say your piece, but you know, seriously, wait your turn. All right, don't be fucking with her shit, because I swear to God, we have NASA tech. We can find you, but this was a topic that you can't do in 2 hours, Aimee. It was crazy.
It wasn't.
You know, we got through some of the fun We got through some of the actual, where we had to, take a more firm stance and talk about it properly. And even still, we're going to leave the viewers going, I'm not even sure I get this yet. So, the second part really does matter.
The second part definitely will matter. I agree. And that's why I was thinking as we were going through, we haven't even gotten through half of the stuff that we had found. And I'm sure we're going to find more. And I have a clip that my friend gave me, and I'm going to be going through that as well and getting the timestamps on that, because that one was a striking conversation as well that was had that I think we need to go over as well. And this was, so we'll leave that for the next time too.
Well, if I may, anybody out there who has an addiction and a large credit card bill to OnlyFans, put it back in your pants, put both hands on your desk, and Aimee's going to give you a lovely farewell, and we're going to call it a night.
Thank you so much. And I do want to, it was a very good evening, and I want to thank everyone on the panel for coming. Thank you, Planner Walk. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Gary, as well. I know he had to leave because he had, it's late. It's the UK. Thank you, Commander, for coming as well. Thank you, Dick. It was a really good conversation that really needs to be had. And I can't wait for next week to be able to really dive into this and really dig deep and see what we can find out, see where we can go from there in this conversation. So I do want to thank everyone for coming in the panel, and I especially want to thank everyone in the chat for the great conversations and just for your support. And thank you for liking the new show format. I appreciate that. Thank you. And I really do want to bring these great topics to you. I really think they're really beneficial. So thank you so much. And the only thing I have to say is just love one another, and just try to be nicer and kinder to everyone. I think that's what we need in the world right now. Big time. So thank you, everybody. Good night.
Correct that, Will.
still here? It's over. Go home.